After a whirlwind of the past 60 minutes or so, with rumors flying around that Garrett Nussmeier had sustained a potentially major injury, potentially a major knee injury, according to Wilson Alexander of The Advocate and the sources he's talked to, Garrett Nussmeier is okay. He's going to be fine. Huge sigh of relief for Tiger fans. We're not sure what the extent of the
Brian Kelly debunks the silliest Garrett Nussmeier rumor yet. We'll talk about it. Locked on LSU. Here we go.
Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and Bocat Brothers Premium Cigars. Use the code MATT15 to get 15% off your order. Okay, what a crazy day, man. All the weird Garrett Nussmeier rumors started on Wednesday afternoon, and it's further evidence and a further reminder. I always say, consider the source. I don't know where all that rumor started. As you all know, I'm not a message board person. I don't even know where to go to find those rumors.
I mean, we can just keep going. We can just keep going, should we? Should we just keep going? Because on a day like today, when, I mean, the Nussmeier files has become the Epstein files of LSU media. Where everything has been exposed. All the motivations, the secret deals for access behind the scenes, the people who claim they have sources, but really their sources are just people who will tell them what they're obviously supposed to say because they're school officials. They're not going to give them actual scoops. And they then regurgitate that and say, I'm in the know. You're not. Shut up. I know better than you. And usually they don't have to face, any backlash from that because it never usually comes. People forget, and there's no one who can beat them to the story to kind of expose it. That happened in this case. And Garrett Nussmeier, once again, publicly backs the reporting you heard from LSUODYSSEY.COM back in August and September, where you can see what Brian Kelly set up there. And then you can see what Nussmeier said today. And I've heard a lot of LSU fans say, oh, we all knew this. We all knew this. Anyone who saw Nuss knew he was hurt. And actually, that's bullshit. I can't think of anything that is more a misrepresentation of the truth. I have mountains of DMs of people debating with me about Nuss actually being hurt or not, saying they know he's not hurt. People like Mike Scarborough saying he's not hurt. He's just lazy and he didn't work hard enough. We heard a lot of different stuff. You had reports like this, not facing a serious injury. He's all good. No big deal here. And then you got fans like this, fake insiders online, and directly from a trusted source. And it was described as normal football stuff, just normal football stuff. Having a torn abdominal muscle and a torn knee, just normal football stuff, right? Those are just normal football things, right?
Quarterback Garrett Nussmeier got swept up in an internet rumor on Wednesday, claiming he suffered a serious injury during the Tigers' closed practice. Our partners at The Advocate are reporting that Nussmeier did not suffer one. One source described it as, quote, just a tweak, and that he was able to walk on his own. LSU will take Thursday off.
They said, this is why you listen to real reporters. Because we know what's really going on. We talk to the real people. We know. And it's like, here's the thing about this story. The real people were never going to tell you the actual truth. Like the people close to the situation were never going to tell you the truth about their injured quarterback. That he was injured the second day of fall camp. They were never going to tell you the straight truth about that. The fact that you had media folks taking that as gospel truth and then spreading it and saying, oh, he's fine, nothing to see here. Like almost like anyone reporting that he had an injury is like not tough or something. Like it was this weird, like, you're not tough because you're reporting that you're soft. And it's like, no, we have a quarterback who's starting the season already with 2 injuries. And now every word out of Garrett Nussmeier's mouth backs that up. And you know, we've talked about Brian Kelly and how bad this was for Brian Kelly, and how bad this makes Brian Kelly look. It makes him look like he didn't give a shit about Garrett Nussmeier's health or his future. But we already knew that about Brian Kelly. What I don't think you guys are all focusing on enough, because it is LSU media, it's not like political media or whatever, but we were all lied to. We were all lied to. And people in high places tried to directly lie about my reporting, saying that I said he tore his ACL when I never reported anything like that, trying to say I said he was carted off when I didn't report anything like that. Willingly exaggerating what I actually reported. And we've put all the links to everything, the timeline that we reported, as much as we could find, in the description below. And that's the problem, is we just had our old Twitter account suspended. And man, that old Twitter account had so many bookmarks for all of these receipts. And luckily, we've been able to find some of them. And we will find even more, because there are some that are bad. But what we've shown tonight already is bad enough. You have people who willingly just lie to your face. Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. You even had Brian Kelly saying Garrett Nussmeier was healthy after like week 2 or something. It was astounding. And I was really fired up earlier, because I felt like, you know, I've been saying this, I've been reporting this for since it happened. And we're not perfect. We're never going to get everything perfect. But the fact that a small media company run by one person, 1,667 miles away, run by a security guard, could beat the entire local and national media to this story about a Heisman hopeful, national championship hopeful quarterback being hurt before the season began with a top 10 team, top 5 team. sources as close to Garrett Nussmeier as possible, telling me he was fine as well. I could have just said, "Ooh, I've got closer sources," and yeah, they told me he was fine too. So we're good here. But if you're someone who reads our stuff and watches our stuff, you heard me say and write that even though we were given that information, we didn't believe it. We didn't buy it. And we knew something smelled. And then after a week, we got the best source we could possibly get, who told us they don't know what the hell the medical staff is doing. They don't know what the hell the strength and conditioning staff is doing. They don't know what the hell Joe Sloan and Brian Kelly are doing, putting Garrett Nussmeier out there. The shape he was in, how hurt he was. They when he was as hurt as possible, they had Nussmeier go out there for 15 minutes during a media period, just so it would look like he was fine. Just to make the reports about his injury look false. He risked his quarterback in a practice to make my reporting look bad. Think about that now. He risked his quarterback in a practice, knowing the media would be there after these reports were swirling. He threw him out there in a 15-minute period, had him running the ball, had him doing zone read keepers, just so the media would then report, "He looks fine to me. He looks great. He looks great. Everything looks fine." And I don't blame LSU fans for not just up and believing everything we reported or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. Because I remember a lot of you actually taking up for us. And when the truth was impossible to deny, there's a lot of people, a lot of subscribers that we gained at the time because of it. A lot of people who came to our side because they saw, wow, you're the only one who's actually exposing this shit. Everyone else knows at this point what's happening, and they're too scared to say anything. They're just taking Kelly's every word for it, and Kelly was openly lying, revealing that he was hurt and that he had it's only a torso injury. Oh, it's only a knee injury from before. Oh, it's only this. And then the next second he's completely healthy. He's completely healthy, and he's only going to get healthier, which made no sense. You keep tearing a piece of paper. It's not like the paper is repairing itself. It's going to just keep tearing. And that's exactly what happened with Garrett Nussmeier's abdominal muscles. And you saw how the knee affected his footwork as well. This was all-encompassing, the injuries to Garrett Nussmeier. And it was also all-encompassing the lies and the gaslighting from so many in the media. Now, I don't think it's, a conspiracy of shut down. We don't want this kid to get a breaking story over us. Shut him down. At first, they were just taking the company lines, and running with the company lines and not looking any deeper. But then at some point, when you saw the knee brace, at some point when you saw he could barely throw the football against Clemson, barely could throw the football against Louisiana Tech, and then only until week 3 against Florida, only until then did people really rise up and start demanding the truth of what the hell was going on here. And even then, people said, we'll be fine. We'll beat Ole Miss, and then we'll get to the bye, and we'll be fine. And then against Ole Miss, against our current head coach's former team, everything was exposed in that moment. And it's stunning to me how in denial some folks are. Like right now, a lot of the people who were in charge of continuing the cover up, who were in charge of lazy reporting, there's folks who are talking and telling you all about what went down behind the scenes, and they have no idea. They still have, but yeah, they're the ones. They're the ones who were right there behind the scenes throughout all of it, even though they were completely clueless. How does that make any sense? Completely missed the story, but then months later, act like you were all over it. We've got the receipts. I'll tell you what happened. I'm going to tell you the entire story. So Garrett Nussmeier revealed specifically that it happened on day 2, right? He just opened up about that. Well, I get information about the knee. I do a show about it, talking about it like, this is not good, but I'm hearing it's not that bad, but this is just not what you want to hear. This is just not what you want to have Nuss facing already. And I was kind of worried about it. Okay. But then news leaked out that he had also torn his abdominal. And so I started reporting that, and people were saying, you think the sky's falling? You think the sky's falling? And I asked LSU for an official comment. What's going on? Is Nuss okay? Are these rumors that he's going to be shut down for a potential surgery? Are those true? And they denied, he's not being shut down for a surgery. But but then they also denied that he was in any shape but perfectly fine. And that while he had some typical football ailments, that he was good to go, no issues, right? And we posted that statement on our old Twitter account. And that thing went viral instantly. And I was stunned. I was very actually proud of the fan base, because the fan base came out and went, no. This is bullshit. They're lying to us. Thank you for actually reporting this. Thank you for actually digging into this and actually asking them the tough questions, even though they denied it. And, we accepted their denial and said, like, we don't know, much more we can add to this except LSU is denying it. And we have information that suggests otherwise. So I guess we'll see. And then Nussmeier started playing games. And once he started playing games, it was impossible to ignore. Impossible to ignore. It just, it feels like there are a different set of rules. It feels like there are rules for some folks, and then there are rules for us. And I'm not trying to be all self-absorbed here or anything like that. But it feels like, if I'm not using these names, I'm not trying to rip on these people, I'm just using them as an example. Had Wilson Alexander reported this exactly like I did, when I did, how I did it, A, he wouldn't have gotten the shit I received, and B, he would get full, love, respect for being way ahead of everyone on this story. And the same thing goes for many within LSU media. With us, it was almost like a competition to see who could bury what we were reporting the fastest, who could delegitimize us the fastest. And it was organized. I'm not stupid when I can see that 4 or 5 different creators are coming at me with the same thing to their audience that I share with you guys. You know, you're all the same fan base. You guys watch a lot of this stuff. And if you notice, we don't talk shit on people. We point out things that have happened and then we move on. But there are places that actively, and they hardly ever have the balls to say our name. They don't want to platform us. Like, how liberal does that sound? Like someone like Blake Ruffino saying we don't want to platform his name. Like, what a liberal. What a liberal thing to say. Platform. Ridiculous. But people like that just completely lying and twisting what we reported to you guys to try and make you guys, distrust us. And maybe it worked for a while. But when ultimately the truth comes out and Garrett Nussmeier, every word out of his mouth backs up what we've reported day after day, time after time with this whole saga, it does get to me that there is just no, hey, we got that wrong. This guy got that right. Credit where credit is due. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. I mean, I don't even care if they give me credit, just as long as they admit they got this whole situation horribly wrong. But there's nothing like that. There's no contrition. It's very strange. It's very strange. And, it feels like whoever helped our Twitter account get suspended, whoever was the one behind getting it reported, it feels like whoever did that wanted to take away our ability to use the receipts that we have against them, because there was a lot of that going on at the time. We were making some folks look pretty bad with their past takes. And then I suddenly notice our Twitter is suspended. Interesting how that happens. But here's the thing. And this is why I get into the dual sets of rules. Those people can rip on me, they can clown me, they can say whatever they want about me. And nothing is done, nothing said. It's, well, this is the game, you got to just take it. Which I understand, and I've got the thick enough skin to take it. But what I think is hilarious is how soft some of these people are when I come back at them, when I'm not going to back down and I have a comeback for them, or I have a receipt. It just makes them explode. I just think it's very interesting how it's like, no, you need to shut up and bow to us. Well, what did that ever get me? I gave all these people a ton of respect, a ton of love for years. Looked up to a lot of these media folks. And time after time after time, with their actions, they proved to me that all they wanted to do was cancel the shit out of us, silence us, get us out of the way, bury us. Take away our ability to do this for a living. Just because we beat them to some stories that, it's got to be embarrassing. A security guard beating you to news. across the country. It's got to be embarrassing. But you don't have to take it out on the person who embarrassed you. Maybe you just do better next time, instead of, this whole, hey, you need to do better, Lon. You need to stop saying this. You need to stop. But then we can say whatever the hell we want. We can go at you, and we can do all these really shady things against you. But no, how dare you? Like, it makes me think of how Israel runs their government right now. Just this complete gaslighting bullshit. And we've got the proof right here. And Garrett Nussmeier continues to reveal and back up what we reported back in August and September. I mean, we had people who were tight with us, who completely mocked us publicly, distanced themselves from us, thought we were full of shit over this story, unfollowed us, unsubscribed. Because the idea of your starting quarterback being hurt significantly before the season even began, and I was the only one reporting it, that's got to be hard to take, right? It's got to be hard to fathom. How could he know? How would he have information that we don't have? How could he know? And that's the whole gatekeeper bullshit. If someone like AP or the Go Team were to break some news tomorrow, the first thing out of my mouth isn't, well, what does the Go Team podcast know? How would they even know? They don't have sources. Or what is AP? Like, that's not the first thing out of my mouth or in my head. The first thing I think about is, how do we know this is true? How can I verify this? Whoa, this is crazy. Let's try and confirm this. I don't just immediately discount it because of their follower count or if they've broken news before. It doesn't matter. And especially when you've proven with your track record, as we have, of breaking news that people had no idea was coming. And we've done that a multitude of times. You can delete our Twitter account. You can do whatever. It doesn't really erase that history. All you have to do is Google LSU Odyssey or my name, and you'll find the proof for all of that. And it's just it's very interesting coming from the view of an independent reporter, independent journalist, independent creator, and how when the story is as big as this, when the stakes are this high, and you're the only one out there alone in the abyss reporting something like this, it can get hairy. But I'm proud of the work we've done. I'm proud of how we reported this story. I think there's a lot of people who should be ashamed of themselves because they said a lot of horrible things about Garrett Nussmeier. Mike Scarborough said he's not even hurt. He's faking it. He just sucks and he's lazy. Literally, Mike Scarborough opened a podcast with that line. I'm not, like, once again, you can cry and say I'm ripping on all these people's names. I don't care. You would come at me and say, you got this wrong. Well, guess what? It's my turn now. You can cry about the 3 mistakes we've made in 8 years. Well, at least we didn't say Brian Kelly's going to Michigan. And then the next week said something like this. Nick Saban is the favorite for the LSU job. Remember, Matt Moscona, and I like Matt, but he once told me, don't do breaking news, but here we are, beating him to a story where he said Nick Saban is the favorite for the LSU job. And then later on, of course, he said that he was the first to the Lane Kiffin news, and he knew this was going to happen. He was all over the Lane Kiffin. And, well, here we go. Nick Saban, favorite for the LSU job. I mean, guys, we can just go. I mean, if we spend all day going through this, we can really find some awful stuff. Tiger Mania, what's up, brother? He says, Nuss got done dirty, and I will stand on that. Dude, he did 100%, and our fans were nasty to him. Nasty. Our fans were terrible to Garrett Nussmeier. And that is all at the feet of Brian Kelly. To play that dude injured like that is just, I mean, Brian Kelly should have been fired for that alone, let alone all the other shit he did. But I wanted to let you guys know kind of how this update made us feel. This update and what it exposed. This update Nussmeier's provided that fully backs our reporting from last fall. And you've heard it before. We've been vindicated already many times, but here's some more vindication for you.